so this is your upper body workout, push-pull. You will need just dumbbells. The weight will change obviously with what you are going to need in terms of weight. Some of it can be a little bit higher, some of it can be a little bit lower. But here is what we're going to do. You can go on the floor. If you don't have a bench, you can use a poof, you can use a Swiss ball, you can use a bench for the first exercise. So I'm going to go into superset mode, okay? That means you will have 2 exercises back to back, and then you take a rest, and then you'll do the second round of exercises back to back, and then take a rest. And then we go on to the second superset and the third superset, okay? So let's get started. You should have done a warm-up. If you don't have any warm-up, then you go into the other sections where I have a lot of activation exercises, okay? So make sure you have done your warm-up. So let's get going. So the first superset that we are going to do are dumbbell flies. So we simply lie down either on a bench or on the floor. What I'd like you to really think of is having your shoulder blades separated from each other. So if you feel like your back slightly lifting from the ground or from your surface, try and focus on bringing it back and connecting, almost trying to connect a little bit your spine, but just really pay attention to also keeping the shoulders refraining from climbing towards your ears. So we want to try and make sure that the shoulders stay down. Now the next thing, so I like to imagine myself pushing those dumbbells a little bit towards the ceiling. The next thing that we are going to do is ensure that my elbows are slightly bent in a way that you can see. I am slightly rotating them, so when I open, my lats are activating as well. So you can see I'm really drawing the shoulders down. I'm pushing my shoulder blades away from each other before I even start the movement. Then we are going to open into a fly. Yeah, so when we open into a fly, the movement is almost like you want to try and bring your hands as far away from each other. You have this slight elbow bend, but when you open into that fly, try and keep that strength in between the shoulder blades. Yeah, so we try not to dump the weight as we open. So this is quite hard. You can keep bending the elbows a little bit more if you feel that it is getting really difficult, because it's a more advanced movement. What I really want you to think of is almost this sort of ballet stance, the ballet arm. And when you open your ballet arms, you still want to draw the shoulders down, and you want to brace that rib cage so you feel your lats engaging as you open through your pectoral muscles. So you really want to spread those hands as far away as possible, and really try and imagine that you got this lovely open ballet stance. And when you bring back your shoulder blade, also again kind of move a little bit towards the front. Again, what you want to try and avoid is have the shoulder blades riding up. You want to try and keep them here, and as you open, it's that nice ballet stance. Yeah, so rather, you can also try different stance with your arms, but the standard stance is, you can see I am imagining I'm pressing something with my elbows before I open. So my elbows are kind of pushing into this imaginary press, so I engage the underneath of my armpits. Okay, so the second exercise, we are actually reversing. So we do the bench, we do pec flies, and now we're doing reverse flies. So exactly the same stance, the same movement, exactly the same movement, except that this time round we are bending into a hinge. Obviously the lower, the more horizontal you go, the harder it gets. Okay, this is to hit your deltoids and to hit the back of your deltoids, the posterior. Same stance here. Try and ensure that you find that nice little hold at the top. Try and avoid, again, squeezing the shoulder blades too much together. Yeah, try and more imagine an opening of the shoulder blades nice and broad, rather than the shoulder blades squeezing back. Okay, so that's your first superset. Alright, so second superset that we are going to do are tricep extension. The next exercise is a tricep extension. Because I've got 2 very light dumbbells here, I am going to use my dumbbells together, but if for example you have just one dumbbell and you just want to be quite hardcore and just go with one heavy dumbbell for this one, that's absolutely no issue. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate with my 2 dumbbells. What we want to try and do is have this nice overhead stance with the hands together. Okay, so as you look, my hands are together. I'm not trying to force my shoulders too far back. What I'm trying to focus on is keeping my elbows parallel. So you can actually see, if you watch what's happening in my shoulder, in my armpit, as I focus here again, I am moving to use my shoulder blades. So rather than staying here, I also use the shoulder stabilization, except that here we are also hitting the triceps. So we try and bring the arms behind the forearms, and then we come back up and we completely extend and then bring back again. So always try and make sure that your elbows are not flaring out, and that you also try and focus on not letting go into your back. Okay, so really take a stance where you feel quite stable, where your shoulder feels like it's also holding quite well. Yes, so try and avoid the compensation, and just take your time to get used to that movement. So it's harder than it looks. It gets really burny quite fast. The next exercise that we do are lateral raises, which are quite a simple exercise as well per se, except that you want to again focus on your deltoid, so the shoulder muscle, rather than raising the traps. Okay, so a sort of a very small micro bend in the elbows here. You can also think about that sort of slight rotation down, so you feel your lats also supporting that move. So you can actually see if I do just a plain shoulder move, or if I also get my lats engaged. Again, remember as well, we want to try and spread the shoulder blades away from each other like 2 sliding doors, so you get the most as well of the movement. Okay, so that's superset number 2. Superset number 3, we are going to go into your French doors. So French doors are again a very easy movement, but it is actually quite hard and quite burny to do as well. It really burn. I call them burny exercise. So you want to try and have your perfect sort of cactus shape movement here. Yes, again, try and make sure your shoulders are nice and stable, your ribcage slightly tucked. You're going to try and have that neutral spine. Then we close the door. Now, when you close the door, the important part is to try and focus on the shoulders. So we try and like really squeeze the elbows as close to each other without letting the shoulders ride up. Okay, so that's the important part. And then we open and then we close. Progression from here, I'm already burning, into a shoulder press. Down, we French door, and open. Yeah, so press if you want. We French door, press the elbows towards each other, and out and press. Yeah, so that's your progression. Yeah, for the moment you can just do this. You can see I'm just trying to really push a little bit my elbows forward and back. This really burns. Okay, your other exercise will be your windmill. So the windmill is a quite complex exercise, so don't feel like you have to really go quite deep in this one. What we're trying to focus on is a nice amount of stability in your shoulder, in your lats, and also good engagement in your obliques. Okay, so the movement means that you want to try and really ride the arm towards the ceiling, but at the same time we slide ourselves along the other leg. Excuse me. Yes. So try and avoid having your shoulder rotating. We keep having that shoulder in a nice position here. I bend my knee and also try and not collapse into your body. Try and stay with a nice body. Imagine that you want to go in this direction. So you can see what my body is doing. I'm moving in this direction and my arm wants to go up. It's actually really hard if you want to go further away. Yeah, so try and think this way. When you come back, reset a little bit into your lats and your core. You should really feel that pull here. Yeah, so you can see my body elongates. Don't get the arms out. This is actually quite hard. You can do it if you go light dumbbell like I have right now when I'm demoing. But if you have quite heavy, my shoulder's starting to bend. If you have a very heavy dumbbell, just focus on that movement. Just try and imagine your body, your upper body want to stay long, yeah? So try and make sure you also don't rotate that shoulder in. You keep that external rotation throughout, yeah, you can see. And as you push towards the ceiling. So I have to do my other side as well, yeah? So this is really good to really hit into the depth of your core, but differently. So remember, the body is going long, is staying long. So we're not collapsing on that side. We're trying to stay nice and long as we lower it down. Yeah, okay, so we're going into that direction. The hand comes a little bit down, but we want to try and keep that body nice and long. Only try this one if you have a very light dumbbell. You can even try it without dumbbells, to be honest. It's actually really hard, yeah? But when we do the windmill, this is the actual stomps. Another point that you want to try and keep as well is the body is staying in the same direction as well. That means try and focus on not going backwards and try and focus on not collapsing forward either. Try and stay into that sort of panel of glass. Wait, what, how am I supposed to? Even I get confused with my dumbbell. So always check that you stay into that sort of two panels of glass. Okay, well that's your upper body workout. Let me know how you get on. This is a tiny bit more advanced than the other workouts, some of the other workouts that you are going to find. Oh, I'm getting out of breath already. Yes, so this is a little bit more demanding in terms of technique, but nonetheless it's still a very fun workout, and I hope that you enjoy it. Bye.